Okay, so what's new?
So I haven't been doing cars that much lately. I've been avoiding it. I tried doing one passage and it didn't go so well.
Hmm.
But I've been doing like Anki every day or almost every day. I skipped one day, but I've been mostly doing Anki and I finished all the Jack Weston content diagnostics. I'm just in the process of going over them.
Yep.
Um, But like, of course, I did like high in psych social. The section that I actually had the most wrong in was Chem Phys.
Yep.
Um, so that's going to be a lot of work. But other than that, content so far has just been good.
Okay. What would you like to work on today?
On cars,
Yep. Because I
so that I can, yeah.
got it, got it. All right. So what cars material have you been using? Like AMC, Jack Weston?
So I have the AMC,
Mhm.
but I recently tried the cars passage from yesterday, and I also have this book
Mhm.
that I got last year, which is like the exam crackers
Yep. Yep.
um reasoning book. But apparently, I thought I touched it, but I don't have any pencil marks, so maybe I didn't, or maybe I wrote it somewhere else. But
Yeah. That's
yeah.
it's a good book to also have. I have that and a bunch of other stuff in the shared drive as well. But so yesterday, so the cars that you were doing, is it from that or is it from Jack Weston or something?
So the most recent was Jack Weston, and I tried doing some passages in the AMC cars diagnostic.
Got
I
it.
think I only did like two or three over there.
Got
But I haven't done much. Like it's basically a blank slate because like I felt like I was wasting my time and not using the
it. Hmm.
materials efficiently. I didn't want to run out of material until I could kind of know of a strategy to use and like practice.
Got it. All right. So, all right, why don't we open up a passage from the AMC?
Okay.
It could be like wherever, pick up wherever you left off.
Okay. Let me just try to log into it.
Hmm.
I literally just resetted my password. It's already giving me issues. Let me
Okay.
see. Yeah. Um, maybe I just mm, I'm logging out safe on my other computer. Oh, there we go. We should there we go. So I'm gonna go into the cars diagnostic tool, if that's okay. Yeah. You see- okay. Okay. I can share my screen or okay. Let me was trying to find the do not desert disturb thing so it doesn't keep pinging on here, but I don't see an option for that on here. Rip. Okay, it's gonna go.
Mhm.
Okay, what? I just logged in somewhere. Okay, there we go. Um,
Do you have
I don't think I've done this passage.
do you have the Jack Weston Chrome extension?
Oh, that's on a different, yeah, I'm gonna have to log in on a different Google account. Let me see if it's on here. I do have it, but it's just not on this one. But I forgot how to switch.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just that it'll show it to you in a more MCAT like format. Um, so let's see. Um,
Um, because I know I have it. It's just on this account. I can't use it. Because it's like a school one and I don't know why. They're very weird about it.
Yep.
Um, let me see if I could just Google Google it and then
Um,
it should be under this one. Yeah.
so another thing is,
Here, let me see if I can log into AMC.
what kind of computer? I guess you're using an iPad.
I'm on an iPad. I'm on an iPad right now, but I have a computer that I usually use, but it's charging
Okay, just because
and I'm not near an outlet, so.
the out for iPads and stuff, it doesn't let me like annotate on the screen.
Oh, it doesn't?
Because
Then I can see if I can go and grab my laptop really quickly, but
yeah, it's weird.
I can just go and grab that. If you're not able to annotate, then let me just get on the computer and then if it dies, it dies, but it should be
Yeah,
fine.
you can like leave it plugged in and it can charge as we.
Yeah. Okay, I will be right back.
Sure.
The Zoom is updated on dating on my computer right now, so
Sure.
I'm just gonna give it a minute and
And do you have that Chrome extension on that on the computer?
yeah, I'm just gonna log into it
Sure. Yeah,
and see.
you'll see what I mean with the format. Because for some reason AMC has some bizarre format that looks nothing like the MCAT.
Yeah, it does. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, I'm just gonna log off of Zoom for this device. Sometimes it's easier. Um, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, just trying to get in to the MC interface right now. I want the official prep. Yeah, I want this. Okay, I'm about to share my screen on. Okay, share. All right, can you see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
One has the Jack Weston
Yep.
extension on it.
Yeah, perfect.
That's what it looks like to me. So I'm gonna
Yep.
go to, okay, now it's just,
Yep.
and as you can see, I only did 19% of the car's diagnostic, so not much.
Fine.
Okay, and
Oh,
here's the,
uh,
still didn't do it.
oh yeah, hit so yeah, go back or hit done practicing. Yeah, so now go to practice over here on the left.
Practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Yeah. And click like the arrow here. Sorry.
Oh, arrow here.
Now open with JW
Oh, okay. There we go.
and see what I mean with the format.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we can
It
have the left side independently of the right side.
hmm
So, and this is how it's on the MCAT, like actual MCAT. So it's bizarre that AMC doesn't do it this way. Let's have you zoom out a bit because we're gonna try to fit the entire passage from the left, like on a single screen. So you could hold like Control minus. Hmm.
Keep doing it or
Yeah.
that one. Oh, that's oh,
Just,
never mind.
yeah. And now, oh, go back to the zoom in one more, and we can now just lower the this a tiny bit. Let's see if we can get the entire thing. So
Oh, it's cutting off, so almost there.
um, let's see. Oops. So if you go to the up here, so
And
oh sorry, go here,
yeah. Mm.
then down here where it says 67, maybe it'll let you do something like 70, like over here.
Oh, I went up to 75. Let me.
Oh, okay, that's
Mm. It doesn't. It just goes straight up to 75.
yeah, what the hell? Okay.
Like I don't know. Can I modify? I don't think I can modify it. Yeah.
Okay, I think this is fine. So, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Um, so in cars, it's all about arguments. Okay. Other words for arguments are claims, assertions, opinions, hypotheses, ideas, stuff like that. So we want to be aware of what the argument is, who's making the argument, and what support, if any, is given. And I'm going to have you read out loud slowly. And after each sentence, or sometimes if the sentence is really, really long, you can tell me what that sentence means in your own words. And every sentence we can classify as either new idea or same idea, and then some type of thing, like most of the time it'll be same idea elab, like elaboration. But that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go slowly. And at the end of each paragraph, we're gonna write something out. We're gonna jot down some stuff like the argument for the paragraph somewhere on the right, and we're gonna do that for each of the paragraphs. And oh, and then if you see a sentence that starts with a contrast word like but, however, yet, although, I want you to like say contrast word to acknowledge it. And that's going to be important because what it means is whatever came before the contrast word will be different from whatever came after. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times the thing after the contrast word is going to be closer to what the author believes. But yeah, we can start it off. So yeah, why don't you start? Oh,
Okay.
sorry. And then I'm going to be, I know you can't highlight in different colors on a test, but for instruction purposes, I highlight new idea or arguments in green. I highlight contrast words in pink. I highlight evidence in orange. And you'll kind of see the way that I highlight, it's like I'm highlighting mostly nouns instead of like full sentences because I'm filling in the blanks and the grammatical stuff in my head. And you can see how it kind of functions as very similar to what we're going to be writing down. So, any questions so far? All
Um, no, I guess I just gotta try. Yeah.
right. So, yep, you can do it.
Many theorists have speculated on the relationship between technology and the expansion of literature.
All right.
So this is like a new idea. It's the first sentence. So um I guess it's saying that people have been thinking about the relationship between technology and literature.
Yep. Technology and expansion of,
Expansion.
right?
Expansion of literature.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, there you go. We have a new idea there. And whenever I see a new idea, what I'm thinking in my head as if I'm talking to the author is, what do you mean by that? And the author should elaborate, and that's usually what you'll see. So, yep, you can continue.
One group views social change as a catalyst for both technological and literary developments.
All
Can I
right.
pause here? Because there's a semicolon.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I was going to say that because in cards, you're going to have super verbose sentences, and a lot of times, it's hard to analyze that entire huge sentence. So even like without the semicolon, there could be long sentences that just have commas, and you could do like up to the first comma and then the second separately. But yep, tell me what's being said here.
Okay. So it's talking, so this part is talking about the first group, which which thinks about social change as a start, like a catalyst for um, technology and literary developments. I'm trying to phrase it in my own words, but it's kind of hard.
Oh, you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
So one group thinks that social change is what causes technological and literary, developments, right?
Yeah.
Good. Continue.
Okay.
Another argues that technology leads to the evolution of both society and literature. So it's saying that the second group believes that technology helps to advance society and literature.
Good.
Okay. A frequently cited example of the literature technology relationship is the advent of the novel. Um, do I pause here or do I keep colon, or it's just like a semicolons where I would pause?
Oh
Can
yeah.
I?
Yeah, you can say what's being said here.
Yeah, it's giving an example.
Mhm.
Here it's saying that a novel is an example of the literary technology relationship.
Yep. And so we have an example here, so I'm highlighting it in orange.
Okay. Perhaps the only literary genre that is unequivocally a product of the medium of print. So I guess it's elaborating on the novel, saying that it's like the only product that's made of print.
Yeah, what's the significance of that?
Um, I guess it's like the only like what makes it like a novel, like what makes a novel is that um the medium that is used is print.
So, like so far we've talked about three things, right? Like society, um, like a change in society or evolution of society, a change in technology, and then also a change in literature. So, and the example of the relationship between literature and technology is the novel because there must be something to do with technology in here. So the medium of print, maybe that is the technology part, right?
Right.
All right, so now we're gonna write down paragraph one. So like I'll start it off. So we're gonna write down the argument. So we could say that there's relationship between tech and expansion of literature. Some say social caused tech plus lit. Others say that tech causes social plus lit.
Hmm.
We have an example of novel, um, product of tech in parentheses print. There are P1 relationship between tech and expansion of literature. Some say social causes tech and literature change. Others say tech causes social and literature change. And then we have an example of the novel, which is a product of tech, particularly print. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So for paragraph two, I see contrast word
Yep.
yet.
Good, good, good.
It's at the very beginning. So it's like yet Watt's account of the rise of the novel stresses not technological change, but the growth of reading public as fundamental to the 18th century literary innovation. Okay. Um,
So right away, before we even anything, like right before we said that, like the novel is an example of the um relationship between technology and literature. And then we have our contrast word. So we're gonna say something after the contrast word that won't be like the previous sentence, which is that technology, and literature combined, to make the novel. So we're saying something different. And then we want to know who's saying it. So we're saying Watt is a person, and he thinks that the rise of the novel is not because of the technological change, but what reason?
but it's like basically reading publicly, which was like fundamental to the 18th century.
So what can that mean? The growth of the reading.
I guess like more people are reading,
Mhm.
or and so because of that, they had to find something to help. innovate that. So usually printing and getting making many of those will allow for the public to be able to read.
Yep. And so far we've in the first paragraph we've talked about three things, right? Three main things. What are the three main things?
That there's a relationship between technology and the expanse of literature, that technology and literature,
Those are
um,
two things, and then there's one more.
oh yeah, and that social that technology can affect social and literature, and that creates a novel, which was the example of that.
So overall, the three things that we introduced was technology, like, and whenever I say like these, I just mean like a change or an evolution. So technology, literature, and social or society, right? So that helps us narrow things down. As we continue to read, we can put things in these categories. So so Watt doesn't think that it's technology that led to the novel, but the growth of the reading public, which could be what? Could that be?
That could be like the people reading it, but mostly it's like the educated. Um,
Oh, I just mean in terms of the three main things, what would it fall?
oh, it would fall under. mm, I want to say it's social because society is the people. Yeah,
Growth of the reading public, that's a society thing, right?
yeah.
And for the literary innovation, so we know that we're talking about literature, we're talking about not technology, and then growth of the reading public, which can only be social.
hmm
We know kind of like what categories to that we can put these things in. All right,
hmm
cool. Okay, continue.
Similarly, when considering the expansion of literacy a century later, uh, that's I can just continue because there wasn't much there. I
Yeah.
can, yeah. James refuses to attribute it to technological transformation, but appears to see the two phenomena as independent determinants of growth of certain types of literacy products.
Okay.
Okay. So basically seems to be talking that another person that the author is bringing up with this James
Mhm.
um doesn't want to attribute the I guess like the growth of the novel expansion of it to to technology.
And so that similarly makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Is
it agrees with
yep, at least for the part where it's not technological, right?
yeah.
All right, continue.
But in like then well there's a contrast word, but it's not at the beginning. But so where James is different from Watt is that he sees the two things, technology, the expansion of literature, as two different things. Like they're not like related to the growth of the novel, which I think is the literary product that they're talking about, or
Perfect.
certain types.
Perfect. Perfect. Great job. So for this, we can write, what can we write?
So you could write like what doesn't attribute technology to the growth of the novel. Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
And also James agrees with Watts when it comes to this is too wordy. To the technology causing the novel, but believes that, or you can write James thinks that um, technology and the social or the expansive literature as two different things.
Um,
I'm trying to.
I think it says so yeah, similarly, James also doesn't think it's a technological thing, but he sees the two phenomena, that being between tech and lit, as independent, right?
Right.
So I wrote for P2, Watt says not tech, but social, in parentheses, growth of the reading public, that leads to the literary development. And James also says not tech, but he doesn't say that it's because of something. He just says that whatever it is, it's independent of the literary development.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. At alt tick, which is a new person that the author is bringing up,
Mhm.
um, takes the relationship further. So it seems like he's taking what the author believes a step further, or
Oh yeah, so we don't know yet what the author believes, right?
yeah.
All we know is that the author says there's a lot of different speculation about the relationship between these things, and then this is what Watt says, this is what James says, now this is what Altic says. So yeah, so far we're talking about all these other people, but yep.
Okay. Um, if everybody knows that in the 19th century, the number of English readers and therefore the production of the press multiplied spectacularly. So Atslick seems to, from a quote, says that the number of English readers has grown, and that was caused for the need of printing production to help meet the demand.
Yep. So the number of English readers is that, what is it in those three categories?
It's the social, the society,
Good. And then productions of the press.
that is the technology
Good.
inflation.
Good. So good. So yeah, number of English readers and then the press, okay?
Okay, then that is Attic seems to see such technological innovations as high-speed printing, um, techniques for the reproduction of photographs and illustrations, and typesetting machine for newspapers as a response to the demand of the reading public. So I just read the whole entire thing because it seems like it's all different technologies that has been used to help meet the demands for the reading public, which is part of the society, and all the techniques that were mentioned are the technology.
Mhm. So politics says essentially social leads to the tech innovation. For example, the printing press, which I'll just put in orange for an example. Good, 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 good.
Okay, so we have another set Fev and Martin. Two, so seems to agree with a little bit with what Altic is saying, I guess. In considering the rise of the book, this is similar to like a novel, though.
Yeah, we could
Okay.
like
Yeah.
lit. Yep.
Yeah, that can be lit them all. Okay. Points out that a new reading public preceded the invention of the printing press. So we see for Feb and Martin, they agree with Altic saying that social can lead tech innovations. But they were saying that the book, like which was like the new novel techno or literary development, the expansive literary development, um, just you found like a new group of readers, I guess, like for the reading public, people that are interested in it.
Mhm.
But it that preceded the invention of the printing press. So that's the reason why we can see how it relates to Altics, saying that social leads to tech innovations, because
Okay.
the social was the reading public, and that led to the printing press, which is our technology.
Mhm.
Um, from the late 13th century, they say that the new bourgeois class, um, particularly lawyers and merchants, contributed such a public, requiring faster methods of reproducing written words than those of scribes and illuminators. So it's saying that like from the like society, which is the new bourgeoisie class, they give some inventions, sorry, some examples of who those are, which shows that there was a need to find new technology or advancements to help meet the demands, um, which from other people that used to do things slower, like written by hand, like the scribes that were here, to show that how the society led to technological innovations or the need for it.
Mhm.
Um, and then it says Phelps and Martin's emphasis on the relatively autonomous development of printing and the spread of reading indicates a refusal to collapse the history of the book into either technological or social determinism. Um, it seems that like February Martins wanted to is saying that the printing and the spread of reading are autonomous, like they weren't like I guess I'm trying to understand like that part of the sentence. It's just kind of mm, of reading. I guess I don't understand this sentence right now. It's confusing me.
Yeah, let's see, right? So their emphasis on the relatively autonomous development of printing and the spread of reading, what does that mean? What is autonomous?
like the way I think about that word is saying it's like kind of it's by itself. Like there's nothing that's, causing it to really happen. It's just on its own.
Mhm.
Um,
So, so good.
it,
Yeah.
but it's saying that basically the printing and the spread or like the more demand for reading are separate.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess like that confuses me because like at least like earlier it kind of seemed like they agree with Altic saying that social leads to technological innovations, and that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's a little subtle here, but we're saying that a new reading public preceded the invention of the printing press. But if something came before it, doesn't necessarily mean that it caused the other thing, right?
hmm
So,
Oh, okay.
mhm.
Okay. Um,
Now, also where it says a refusal to collapse the history of the book into either technological or social determinism, what do you think those mean?
it's saying that you can't really box down the book into either category, like just it being a technological innovation or social determinism, that it might kind of be
What do you think technological determinism means in this context?
um that it was like the logic technology that caused it, that led to it basically.
Yep. And then what about social?
that it was like the public, or society that kind of caused this to happen. But
So far in the names that we've seen, does anyone uh, uh believe in social determinism?
what?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, this is starting to ring bells with someone earlier, but I was like, yeah, what does?
Anyone else?
Um, James, but I think for James, it was kind of, let me go.
So James said it was independent, right?
Yeah, independent.
That's kind of closer to like Feb Martin, right?
Yes.
But what about Altic?
Altic, also said it was social that caused technological innovation.
Good, good. So now we have like a new term here, like technological or social determinism, that they don't explicitly define for us, but we can take that upon ourselves to understand what that means, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like how you said like, it started off seeming like they were saying that the new reading public caused that technological innovation. But yeah, we want to be careful because it just says that it preceded it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what that could mean is if it preceded it, it created a demand for something that's faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, creating a demand for something that's faster isn't the same as, you know, them saying, "Hey, we need a we." It's not like it's not like these new readers are saying we need better technology. It just happened that the demand is higher, and so something like that could happen. Um, Technically, like independently, but it does fulfill a need. So good, 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 good. So now we know that we can, say that if someone thinks that social caused things, we can say that that's social determinism. If someone says tech causes things, we could say that's technological determinism. But good. But Feb and Mart, they don't won't believe in either of those things.
Mm-hmm. But that also sound like it was, I think you were saying like earlier that that was similar to
Oh yeah.
James
Oh,
that like he like
the
they had a similar line of thinking as James. I think like that's where it's trying to go back to. Like, that sounds like he didn't think it was one or the other.
yep.
That it was kind of like
Hmm.
it couldn't really fit into a box. Like you couldn't fit into technology or
Yep. Because yeah, they both like so James said that they were independent, and that Mart are saying that they're autonomous, which essentially means the same thing. So good.
okay. Um, the what was that? Okay. Typical of their views in this statement, all things considered, the work of copyists and scriveners paved the way for the printer. On the eve, oh, what? I guess like this part of the quote is just saying that copyists are just like human writers in a way, I guess, paved the way for the printer. Um, and on the eve of the appearance of the first printed text, a growing demand for books was obvious, particularly among the emergent social classes. So it was saying that, around the time that they were starting to print, there was an obvious amount or growing demand from society for these books. Um, So I guess because it started with like, typical, so I think it's kind of like trying to build upon what we were saying earlier. But we could see that, yeah, there was like a growing demand for the books around the same time that the printer was or the printing technologies were developed, but it doesn't mean that, one led to the other. It was kind of autonomous, like they were just both doing their own things. Like over time, society just
Hmm.
wanted to read more, and then the printer like, okay, we just want to start, thinking about different ways of printing, and it just happened to coincide.
Yep. So I put FM, new RP reading public, like lawyers and merchants, led to a higher demand for faster book reproduction, faster than scribes, but not social or technological determinism. It is independent. Okay.
Okay. In considering the development of television, Williams also, okay, so we have another writer here, or person they're talking about. Williams also opposes the idea of technological determination. So, like Watts and James doesn't believe that's technology. So at least for like P5, Williams not tech as part of the map. Or technological determinism. Um, it is especially a characteristics of the communication systems that were foreseen before crucial components of the developed systems had been discovered. So we see here that Williams doesn't believe that technologically um, or technology helps with the expansive literature.
Now, are you
Um,
talking about literature now?
oh no, technological determinism.
Oh, no, I mean, are you talking about literature now or something else?
Something else. I think they're talking about something else.
Like
Um,
what I just highlighted?
highlighted. Oh, television.
So now we're talking about television, right?
Yeah,
Good, good, good. So yeah, up until this point, we've been talking about literature,
literature.
like the novel, but now we're talking about television, and this guy Williams, he also opposes technological determinism. And
This, you know. So I think this. I mean, this sentence. Sorry, I'll put it. It is especially characteristics. But like, I guess I'm just confused about like how the communication systems were foreseen.
yeah,
So this part of the sentence.
so fortunately, a lot of times when we have a quote like that, that can be difficult to understand. Uh, Afterwards, you know, the author will help us understand by elaborating. It's kind of like what I was saying, like, okay, so like in this sentence, in the first sentence here, it's like, okay, new idea, television, Williams opposes determinism, and we have a quote, but I'm still asking, okay, what do you mean by that? And so then we should have, oh, and I should have shown you this before. So like earlier, like, so what I was saying about, so like for instance, first paragraph, first sentence, relationship between tech and expansion of literature. That's the new idea. Next sentence says one group views social change as the catalyst. That's going to be same idea, elab, as in elaboration. Because again, it's like I read it, relationship between tech and expansion of literature. I'm asking, what do you mean by that? Author elaborate says some people think social change causes it. Some people think tech causes it. So those are same idea, elabs. And then we have
Mhm.
frequently cited example, and that's where we have some evidence. So that's why I made that orange. And then we say, and we kind of move forward saying the same kind of thing. So like, yet Watt's account stresses not technology, but growth of the reading public that led to literary innovation, and that's a new idea. And then what do you mean by that? we have the similarly. Well, I guess they didn't elaborate particularly, but then they say similarly, James believed in something like this also. But yeah, in general, so like in this paragraph that we're on, it says for t oh, my thing got erased, but for television, Williams opposes tech determinism, and we have a quote that we may not understand, but it's okay because the next sentence is going to be likely same idea, elab. So
Okay.
if you find yourself like, if you don't understand like a sentence, for example, you can like maybe reread it once, but if it doesn't make sense after that reread, just move forward because they'll likely elaborate on it in like the author's words, which will be easier to understand than like the quotes.
And so I can just continue to the next sentence.
Mhm.
Okay. In no way did the new medium create new social conditions. So it's saying that technology, which was the TV, which is the new medium, create new it didn't changes in society. So
Mhm.
so it agrees with at least with the first sentence. I can see
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Um,
Now, it's okay that we don't understand that quote because the author elabbed, for us.
mhm,
Good.
okay. Um, the decisive transformation of industrial production with its new social forums, which had emerged from a long period of capital accumulation. This seems like a long thing. Created new needs along with new possibilities, and communication revolution, including television, was the outcome.
Mhm.
So at least the ending here is trying to say that something led to technology. So let me at least go back here. And I see its new social forms. This is like the society or social. Um, and it said like just from a long period that this was actually a long time coming. Um, and it created new needs with the new possibilities. So it seems to say that social led to technology or technological or social determinism seems to be what this is looking like, but I could be wrong.
Yep. Television was the outcome. So we know that that can uh, be like the result of that. So, okay, for this paragraph, what can we put?
Yeah. So for like P5, it's saying that Williams is like not tech, um, but it's saying that the society, sorry, in a way, I'm totally blanked, sorry. Yeah. Also, yeah, basically saying that technology did not lead to social conditions.
Yeah. And so I think what could be a little tricky here is that what is television? Is that a tech thing or is it something else? And if we go back to the original three things that we were talking about, it was tech, social, and then lit. And now we're talking about for TV, so we're replacing the novel with TV. So this can be considered, even though it's not technically like literature, it can be a stand-in for that. So I think the
Mhm.
communications revolution is meant is what is replacing the literature expansion part, right? So we're saying, okay, so we know right away when we're talking about TV, Williams doesn't think it's a technological determinism. And we see that the person's saying that yes, there could be industrial production, which could be a technological thing with some new social forms. But that, prior to that, it said that it was no way that the new medium created the new social conditions, but we can say that the social conditions create has an outcome of this new medium of TV. So I put down P5. Social, Williams says social may have resulted in new medium of TV. Maybe I'll also say not tech
Hmm.
determinism. And maybe I should even put that it is social determinism, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but
yeah, but, but maybe I won't put it for now.
yeah. Okay. In her discussion of the influence of the printing press, Einstein, a new person, considered another aspect of the interplay between technology and society. So we're basically going to figure out another relationship between technology and society. Um, would the yet count as a contrast word? Because it's not the beginning of the sentence, technically, or would you still consider it as contrast word? Yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Because yeah, you want it to be in the beginning of a sentence and also not a quote.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay. Yet the fact remains that once presses were established in numerous European towns, the transforming powers of print did begin to take effect. Um, so at least in this part, is basically saying that the technology, this was the presses, um, when it started to do its thing, you're able to get more print stuff going.
Yeah.
It had an effect. So it's saying that technology affected something, society,
Hmm.
I guess. Um, don't really know yet, but at least from this end here.
Yep.
The news shops themselves interacted with urbanites who received them in a manner that produced occupational mutations and intellectual regroupment. Um, so I guess as a result of the technology, um, we can see the occupational mutation of thinking like the changes to occupations, which is society, and intellectual recruitment. They're all like examples of what the technology did to help influence society. Um, Here again, one may agree that even when acting as agents of change, early printers could be effective only in combination with other forces. So it's saying, even though it might seem that the technology had effect on society or had social changes, the Einstein believes that it had to be in conjunction with other forces. It couldn't only have been technology.
Hmm. Does this person believe in any type of determinism?
Um, not not one type, no.
Good.
It seems like it can't, it's not alone, so it's not like autonomous like FM kind of believed, but I'm trying to see if there's something like I don't think this is like completely novel. Like no of the authors seem to believe that. So Einstein just seems like this in conjunction with other forces versus some of the other people the author brought in were kind of like, no, they're two different things, or it's autonomous, it's independent. One is independent from the other.
Hmm.
Um, so I think at least for like P6 to write that like Einstein um, does not believe that the technological is like independent from social, like it's in combination with other things. I'm not sure how to word that. Yeah.
I just put Eisenstein, parentheses, printing press interacted with social in combination with other forces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. One undeniable truth is that technological and scientific discoveries never take place in a social vacuum. So I'm thinking this is the author's viewpoint, but not yet, or am I just jumping the gun here? Because it seems like the author is agreeing a little bit with Einstein, saying that you can't say like one thing is causing the society to change or technological innovations, that there's also other things that are affecting it
Okay.
as well. It doesn't have by itself, basically.
Mhm.
They may not have intended to meet a social need or need an obvious and direct manner, and they may indeed be the cause of important and far-reaching social transformation. But, oh, contrast word, there is every likelihood that scientific inquiry is directed in, sorry, the pencil thing. Let me complex. Let me go back up. Okay. Ooh. Directed in complex ways by social issues and the need of those in positions of power. So it just seems like the author seems to agree a little bit with Einstein, saying that not one thing like social determinism or technological determinism causes change doesn't happen in a vacuum. Um, because like she also like elaborates saying that yeah, when they created this technology, they didn't mean to be like a demand or what society needed, or um create something that will affect society in the way that they think.
Mhm.
But the author seems to say, with the contrast word but here, it's saying that scientific inquiry um seems to, or at least the inquiry seems to help people, those in power, to help meet their demands.
Mhm. Yep.
And that will lead to technology. It's kind of just a specific group of people.
Yeah, so we have our new idea here that's saying that the truth is that technological and scientific discoveries don't take place in a social vacuum. So the social aspect of it definitely plays a part, but then in the second sentence we're saying, and which is same idea Elab is saying that they may not intend to do it to meet a social need, which could be like growth in reading public means that there's a greater need or demand for it. And that would be like more, I guess, obvious or direct. But he's saying, yeah, it may not be intended to meet that social need in an obvious and direct manner. And it might be true that there could be really far-reaching, important social transformations, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of like the author here is like kind of like conceding like or saying like admittedly like this might be true, like there must be a social aspect, there must be a social aspect in conjunction with some technological aspect. But then we have our contrast word which functions the way that helps us in that, because sometimes contrast words can kind of signal the author's opinion, and so we kind of have that here. So we have our contrast word and then saying that scientific inquiry is directed in complex ways by social issues. But complex ways is not like a determinism, right? It's kind of closer to,
Mhm.
as you said, like Eisenstein, you said that there it's
Yeah.
a combination with other forces. And then the people who say that they're like independent, so FM and perhaps, James.
Hmm.
So, okay, so we can say for this paragraph, um, we could say, okay, tech innovations never social vacuum, but contrast word um has ways to um complex ways for social to affect technological
Actually.
say. Okay, so now if we just look at, for instance, the way that I highlighted stuff, like if you just because like you can see that for the highlight, I'm not doing like entire sentences or anything. Um, and I'm just really highlighting nouns. And when I read it, it's gonna sound like I call it caveman speech, but it's like in my head, I'm filling in the grammatical stuff. So for instance, first paragraph, if you just read what I highlighted, it says relationship, technology, expansion of literature, social, technological, and literary developments. So social causes those. And then technology can cause social and literature. And then the example is of the novel, which people say is the product of the technological medium of print. And so in paragraph one, I wrote exactly that. I wrote relationship between tech and expansion of literature. Some say social causes tech and lit. Others say tech causes social and lit. Example of the novel, product of tech in parentheses print. And you can see that I do that for the rest of these paragraphs. So like paragraph two, Watt says it's not tech, but social. Specifically says growth of the reading public. That leads to lit development. James says it's not tech either, but says it's independent for lit development. And then paragraph three, social Altics says social causes tech innovation, like printing press. Paragraph four, FM says new reading public, particularly lawyers and merchants, created a higher demand for faster book reproduction compared to scribes, but he doesn't believe in social or technological determinism, but thinks that it's independent. Paragraph five, Williams says social led to this new medium of TV, but and that it's not a technological determinism. Paragraph six, Eisenstein says regarding the printing press that it's this complex, or rather, yeah, like combination of other forces. So not determinism. Then P7, technological innovation was never in a social vacuum. So they're related, but contrast word, there's complex ways that this can play out. So now what we do is we're going to write a main idea, and what constitutes a main idea uh is an argument that's in more than one paragraph. And so for that, we can see that paragraph two, we talked about predominantly what James is saying, that it's not any type of it's something independent, right? It's not really
Hmm.
determinism in one way or the other. And then FM says it's independent as well. And then oops. And then Eisenstein says that it's also not determinism, it's an interaction with or combination of other forces. And then P7, again, complex ways. So these are the repeated ideas. And so the main idea could be essentially not, tech/social determinism, but complex interplay between tech, social, and lit or TV, whatever, developments. And that's our main idea. So now I want you to take a screenshot of the entire passage with all of the highlights, and that's why I wanted it to be like, all on one page.
Um, I don't know how to screenshot on the computer. I forgot like if it's control something or
I can do it for you, and then I'm going to put it in the
yeah, thank you. Yeah, because I
in
was going to click something off and like send it.
chat. So I put it in the chat and just save it from there.
Okay, I got it.
Good. So yeah, so this is why I wanted, the entire passage on like a single screen so I could put all the highlights in. And this is something that you can use in the future because you're going to be using this strategy. So you'll be able to kind of understand like or see the connection between what I highlight and then what I write in the map. The map is this thing on the right. And you can pretty much see that the highlights function as like a pseudo map. Um, and you can also see what I'm writing in the map. And in the future, usually what I do with students is like if there's some cars passage that they had trouble with, we kind of go over it together, write a map, and then we compare the map that we write together to the map that the student wrote on their own, and we can make adjustments there. Usually the biggest, I guess like the biggest, most common thing that people do in their map is that they write like a summary, but it's not exactly what we want because like a summary is like objective, more distant, more neutral. So like um for example, if someone wrote for paragraph one that there's a relationship between tech and expansion of literature and left it like that, that's not what you want to do. You want to write, okay, what's the relationship? Some people believe tech causes it. Some people think that social causes it. So you want to be more specific like that. And you don't want it to be like a neutral kind of, because like pre-meds, we're like science people, so we're used to being objective, right? But since cars is all about arguments, not facts. I mean, certain facts can be used to support arguments, but ultimately it's not factual. Like ultimately that's not what we're looking for. So yeah, so you want the stuff that you put in your map to be like a stance. Like for our main idea, we could have written some people think it's social determinism, some people think it's tech determinism, some people think it's neither, but something complex. But that's just saying some people think it could be all of these things, but what does the author really think, right? So we wrote not tech, not social determinism, but it's a complex interplay. Any questions?
Mhm. And I have a question about the cars in general. It's like, because like a person like not like doing it timed is untimed. How
Mhm.
many passes should I shoot to do in a day? Like two? Does that sound one or two? Does that sound like a good amount or
Yeah, it depends on how much you can. I forgot wait, let's see. Yeah, so you're working full time.
yeah,
You have 3 days a week that you could do MCAT stuff, right?
yeah, or
So
at least heavy MCAT stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so like it'll depend. Like perhaps you can do like because it. So wait, on those 3 days that you could do MCAT stuff, like I forgot, like I didn't write down exactly like how many hours, let's say, per those 3 days.
Uh, how many hours? I guess I could put like the minimum of eight, but like a
Oh,
work day.
that's a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to do for each of these days like Anki of course, some science stuff of course, some cars stuff. So I was gonna say it depends on that. Like if you want one day to be more sciencey, you could do that, and another day to be more cars. But if you're able to do like 8 hours, then yeah, I would say maybe like 2 to 3 cars passages. And you could do that and see how you deal with the questions and stuff like that. And yeah, and if there's any cars passage that you have trouble with, when we meet, we can go over it and write out our map and then compare it to your map and then adjust that way.
Okay.
All right. So, any other questions?
Um, I guess like not like cars related. It's like
Uh,
like certain like question types. That's something I think I tend to have difficulties with. Assumptions like
mhm.
beyond the text a lot of the times.
Got it.
I notice that like a difficulties with those types of cars passage questions.
Yep.
That I get those wrong.
Got it. So, yep.
Or yeah,
Yep.
that's it though. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do the questions now. And what I like to do is I like to block the passage because I'll tell you the number one thing people do in Cars that is wrong. What they do is they read through the passage super quick without really understanding it. And then they read through the question stem to super quick without really understanding it. And then they frantically search through the passage for words that match words in the choices. And that's usually what people do. And that's usually how you get your trap answers, the trap choices. The trap choices will involve using identical words usually. So that's like another reason why I want you to put things in your own words. And then also, yeah, I block the passage because it's you don't want to rely on rereading because of several reasons. I mean, one reason is that it takes more time. Like instead of reading it quickly, not understanding it, and then reading the question and then rereading it, you could read it right the first time, and then you don't have to reread. So the emphasis should be placed on, in terms of time, reading the passage should take more time, because you want to come out of the passage really understanding it really, really well. And so that's one of the reasons that I block it out. Another reason is just because it helps you actually concentrate on the question. Sometimes I block out the choices for a question too, if you can come up with your own answer, but you'll kind of see what we do. So, but yep, I'm going to block this out. If we need to reread or anything, it'll be the map that we wrote because that's where the important stuff is. Okay. So,
Okay.
so now let's see if I can also do the, I'll do this also. So, yep, why don't you start?
Okay. The passage author's position on the initial burgeoning of literature is that
Okay.
um isn't like burgeoning is like the opinion or like burgeoning of literature. Oh, wait, on the list of the creation of literature. Okay. Is that
So I should also say, so every question could be classified as either a main idea question, which means by definition, because our definition of main idea is an argument in more than one paragraph. So a main idea question answer could be in more than one paragraph. Um, or just where whatever we wrote for main idea, because we already did that. Or it could be a structure, what's called a structure question, which is if they're referring to a specific paragraph. So if they're, let's say they refer to paragraph 6, that means that choices that are not in paragraph 6, we could eliminate for the reason called localization. So for this so for this question, do you think it's main idea or structure?
main idea?
Good. So that means it's in more than one paragraph, but it also means that it's going to be whatever we wrote for main idea, right? And what did we?
Yeah, which is like not technological social determinism. It's kind of like a
Mhm.
mix of both and other factors.
Yep.
So that was our main idea.
Good. So what can we perhaps write as our answer? Something like, yeah, what would you say?
That like the author's position on the initial written literature is that it's not just one cause, like social or technological determinism, but it's a mix of other factors as well. I'm not sure if that's a good answer, but I tried something.
So I wrote not any type of determinism, but a mix of factors. So now we gave ourselves, because I blocked out the passage and the choices, we gave ourselves a chance to think. And now we have an answer that we're going to look for, and it's going to make us less susceptible to the wrong answer choices. Because if we didn't do this and we just went right into the choices, we're going to be like for each choice, like, okay, that maybe could work, maybe that can work. But now it's going to kind of help us. So why don't you start from A?
Okay. Literature changed in response to a complex combination of social and technological factors. So that answer sounds it sounds close to our main idea.
Mhm.
So I think I want to keep that answer choice because saying it's like a combination, complex combination, and that's similar to the mix of factors that we have.
Right.
B says some changes in literature resulted from social factors. Oh, no, B. I want to get rid of B because saying it's one or the other.
Yeah, because
Uh,
just tell me a little bit more.
it's saying that, some changes in literature resulted from social factors. So I'm saying that social factors caused it, and it's saying that other factors caused it. But that seems like something that we've seen in the first paragraph, which mentioned that, hey, some people believe it's from social factors and some other people think it's from technological.
Did
So
we
we can get rid of that due to
did we
localization.
did we have well, did we give any name for this type of thing? Like if it's
Uh,
caused by social factors and technological factors? Was there like a name that we called
yeah,
these?
it's like social determinism and technological determinism.
Yep. And in our answer, what we wrote here on the left is not determinism, right?
Yeah.
So 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 B so you said localization first, but let's see, right? Because so if it says social factors, we see that here,
Oh, yeah.
and we see that here too, right?
Yeah.
Even like over here. So so we can't eliminate B for localization because they do say that in multiple paragraphs, but we could eliminate it for a stronger reason, which is contradiction.
Hmm.
Passage contradicts that because the passage tells us that the author's position essentially is that it's this complex combination. It's not due to any type of determinism. So you could say
Hmm.
no for contradiction. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I kind of jumped the gun there, but
No, no, you're
yeah.
It's just that it's like there's different levels of like because it's like first it's like okay, what's the right answer? What's the wrong answer? And then it's like why is the right answer right? Why are the wrong answers wrong? And we want to make sure that, these are all consistent. Like, because sure, you can get away with like a couple of questions by knowing that it's wrong and not necessarily knowing why knowing that it's wrong and not necessarily knowing why it's wrong. But if you know why it's wrong, it's like additional layers of certainty.
Hmm.
All right, what about C?
Okay. The disagreement of the experts on determinants of literary change leaves the issue open. That does not match with our main idea. And it makes me think that it's out of scope because, like, I don't think the author leaves it open though.
Okay.
Like, that's out of the scope of the passage. Or
So,
I
l-
want to get rid of C.
so if we did the passage like the way that I say that a lot of people do it, like when they're learning this as like a summary, it can be that way. Like we could have come out because I told you like how we needed like a definite stance, but I will also want you to see how we can kind of say something like similar to paragraph one, that there's different theories, right? And so if we wrote it that way, we may have fallen prey to this choice because it says that there's disagreements. People think sometimes it's this determinant, sometimes it's this determinant, and that it could leave the issue open. And that could be something that someone chooses if they're just thinking about it in terms of a summary. But we know that it's in terms of arguments, and we know that our main idea is going to be the author's argument, which is going to be something that actually takes a stance. So C could be tricky if we were only thinking of it in terms of summaries, because it's kind of like what P1 is saying. But
Hmm.
we know that the author definitely agrees with has a definitive stance on something rather than thinking that we could just leave the issue open. So yeah, we can eliminate C. One of the reasons we can eliminate C4 could be localization because they mentioned that in paragraph 1. But
Yeah.
also say perhaps, so maybe a localization, but also perhaps contradiction because the author does say, that it's this complex interplay and that it's not really like an issue that's left open.
Hmm.
Okay. And then yeah, D.
Yep. And emphasis on social and technological changes has caused developments within literature to be overlooked. Um, this one does not seem to match the main idea. Um, because it does say both, but we also it's like a mix of other factors as well. And this answer just mentions two, and saying that it causes things to be overlooked, but it's not just like determinism, it's like other factors as well. Like, like people and the people in charge and what leads them to do it as well. So
Yeah, so I think this is saying like if you focus too much on social determinism and technological determinism, you may overlook literary developments. And while we did talk about, you know, some people thinking a social thing, some people thinking a tech thing, um, yeah, we never mentioned that there could be things that could be overlooked. So that should be out, perhaps for maybe out of scope. Simply
yeah, out of scope.
simply
That's
because within literature to be overlooked, we didn't mention anything about
yeah.
being overlooked. So, yep, good.
Okay. So, oh,
Hmm.
yeah. And I think the Jack Weston thing is weird. Uh,
So, like the
I'm
extension
assuming that
also,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, the extension also gives you better answer explanations because AMC explanations are pretty garbage. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yay. Okay.
Mhm.
Next question. Okay. Which of the following statements about the 18th century most strongly supports Watt's position in paragraph two? So, at least before going there,
So is it
Watt,
what type of question? Main idea, structure?
its structure, because we only talk about Watt in paragraph two.
Yep.
So we're just going to look at like what we wrote for paragraph two, which is saying that tech does not cause social growth, but or social growth, which is like literary development. That's what Watt said, pretty much. Um,
Good. So we're gonna look for some
something something that's like not tech that doesn't cause social growth.
something like social growth. What's meant by that is the growth of a reading public led to literary development, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, start with A.
Okay. The novel was a means of exploring the increasing conflicts between social classes. This has nothing to do with paragraph two.
Does it have anything to do with any paragraph? That part
No, because it says conflict between the social classes, and then we never read anything about conflict between the social.
can be definitively out of scope. We never talked about a conflict between social classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the decline of the patronage of the arts, writers had increasing freedoms to choose their plot. This also has nothing to do with it because this is basically saying the society's kind of not having an interest in the arts is also out of scope. Um,
Yep. So I think what they mean by patronage in the art is, I guess, back in the day, like an artist would like how would an artist make a living? It would be like a rich person is like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna be your patron. I'm gonna pay you to make art, but you also have to make art that I want you to make. So I guess it's saying with less of that, writers or artists had more freedom to choose their own topics. But yeah, we never said anything like that anywhere in the passage.
Yeah.
Out of scope.
The expansion of industry and commerce produced a new class with education and leisure that it's saying that so this is already like the society, but saying that the society leads to literary development.
Mhm.
Wait, no, sorry. It's saying that the technology or the expansion of literature is leading to the expanse of the reading public.
Mhm.
It's saying the other way around. That's what it looks like to me.
Let me see. Expansion of industry and commerce produced a new class with education and leisure. So, well, so okay. Tell me a little bit more.
Um, could I try to go back to like the math and the social growth, which is like the growth of the reading public leads to literary development,
Yep.
but it's just like the expansion of industry and commerce produced. So it's saying it's producing a new class with education and leisure. So it seems like it's produced a literary or a new like public. That's what seems to me.
Uh-huh.
But
So, wouldn't that be like the growth of a reading public?
yeah, that's what like the growth of the reading public.
Mhm. So, I could see what you don't like about this one because it says expansion of industry and commerce created this new class. And it might look like it's saying technology caused this new class to happen, but I think that, we just said that um, it's the growth of the reading public that resulted in this literary development. And this is at least saying that we have this new class of education and leisure
And
that,
that's more of literary development.
oh, so we don't know yet about literary development, but we do know that C is saying that we have a growth of a reading public. Because if we're saying that there's a new class with education, which means that they're able to read, and leisure, which means that since they're not working all the time, they can have time to read. So, so let's say like, okay, we don't know. Let's kind of do a
Yeah.
standby and let's look at D.
Okay. Many forms of art flourished and interacted in ways seemingly independent of social changes. I want to get rid of D
Why?
because it's saying that the literary development is independent of social changes, but we see here, based on our math, that social or society leads to literary development, so it's not independent.
So we could say contradiction here, right?
Yeah.
All right, and now the thing with C is so about cars, the right answer is not necessarily always going to be always look like the right answer, but it'll be the one that's least wrong.
Oh, I don't like that.
So so for instance, I don't necessarily like this part because it sounds like technological and determinism, but this part at least makes a little bit more sense because this new class of education and leisure is a growth of a reading public, right?
Mhm.
And expansion of industry and commerce doesn't necessarily mean technology. I mean, expansion in industry may seem like it, but we also have expansion of commerce, which isn't really a purely technological thing. But I think ultimately what Watt is trying when Watt was trying to or was saying what he said, he was basically saying that it's the growth of the reading public, and out of all the choices, the only one that says anything like that, like a growth of of people who can read, would be C, right?
That's right.
So, and it's asking which of the following statements most strongly supports Watts's position. It doesn't say what is something that Watt says. So that can also help with, whichever one is closest to Watts's position.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so here it says like, which of the following explanations is inconsistent with the argument developed in the passage? So this is a main idea question. So something that's been repeated.
Yeah.
Um, so you know that it's not like social technological determinism, but it's also factors as well.
So, and they're asking for inconsistent, right?
Oh yeah, inconsistent.
So you want to be careful with that. And I think it's good to get into the habit of maybe like highlighting a word like that, because this is essentially like a weakener question. And for weakener questions, something that you can do is you can take your main idea and flip it and then see what agrees with that. So that would mean if we wrote something like not mix of factors, but, some type of determinism, right? That could be
Mhm.
stuff that we look for. So why don't you start with the first Roman numeral?
Okay. Okay. The public's appetite for fiction motivated mechanical engineers as well as writers to apply their skills for a mass production of reading materials. So this is saying that social determinism is leading to the expanse of literature.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be inconsistent with
Okay.
what they're saying. The development of high-speed printing press encouraged both educational reforms that increase the literacy of books general readership. This is saying that technological determinisms leading to social changes.
Okay.
So this would um, be against what the author's saying or not agree with it. The wealth concentrated in urban centers fueled unprecedented demand for new forms of literature and more effective printing methods. So it's saying the wealth concentrated. So this isn't doesn't seem like it's social or technological.
Okay.
Um, that like so because it seems to be like some type of other factors mixed into this possibly.
Mhm.
So I want to have an answer that doesn't have Roman numeral three in it.
Yep. And let's take a closer look at Roman numeral one.
Okay. Um, the public's appetite for fiction motivated mechanical engineers as well as writers to apply their skills to the mass production of reading material. It still seems to be like social, at least for the
Mm-hmm.
public's appetite
Mm-hmm.
to, but like,
Uh-huh.
mm,
So
but
this,
it's saying it's motivating other people, so
uh-huh.
it's not like it's not creating the technology or
Yeah, so this can be pretty tricky here. because, for instance, in paragraph 6 and 7, we do say that it's not necessarily one thing that causes the other, but a combination of forces. So that could be like, so Roman numeral 1 says there's a larger public appetite for fiction, which motivated mechanical engineers to, let's say, use their skills or apply their skills to help make like it faster. Kind of like in paragraph 6 with Eisenstein, they said that the printing press was created uh, due to like social and combination of other forces. So, so like, so that kind of sounds like, and also in paragraph 7, technological innovation doesn't happen in a social vacuum. So there's complex ways that they can be interplaying with one another. And so Roman numeral 1 says public appetite for fiction motivated mechanical engineers as well as writers to apply their skills to the mass production of reading material. And 3, Roman numeral 3 said the wealth concentrated in urban centers, which is kind of like, well, that's exactly what Eisenstein was saying, but that kind of means like the same as, a larger, or well, then it says fueled an unprecedented demand, and that's kind of like this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
in response to the demand, there could be people who wrote new forms of literature and more efficient printing methods. Whereas Roman numeral 2 says, okay, this technological innovation, the printing press, encouraged some type of social thing like an educational reform that increased literacy. So the technological thing caused a change in social because it made people do educational reforms. And then also increase the writing of books intended for our general readership. And, you know, I could even kind of show here. So like here in Eisenstein, right, says,
Mm-hmm.
um, okay, uh, the fact remains that once presses were established, the transformative powers of print did take effect. The new shops themselves interacted with the urbanites that made the occupational mutations and intellectual recruitment. And then, you know, in combination of other forces. So that's kind of like something that talks about, you know, public and then wealth concentrated in urban centers, closely more so the urban center part. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think this is tricky. And then over here with FM, which we also circled, FM says the new reading public, right? The new bourgeois class, which included lawyers and merchants, um, required faster means of reproduction, right? But that they're still autonomous and independent, and it's not technological or social determinism, right? The
Mm-hmm.
spread of reading. So this is a tough one, but I think
Yeah.
that in what we circled, which constitutes our main idea, we see in paragraph 4 that we have this new demand, right? And paragraph 6, you know, these urbanites and stuff. So yeah, this is tricky. So
Yeah.
it should be just 2.
Okay.
Because it's saying that, because 2 is saying that this technological development of high-speed printing press encouraged an educational reform that increased literacy and the writing of books for a general readership, but it doesn't say, and it says that it's causing the technological thing, it's causing the social thing, which is the reforms, whereas 1 and 3 are just saying that it's a natural thing that's happening in that the public appetite for fiction is going up because there's more, you know, lawyers and merchants and urbanites that cause this increase in demand.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a tough one. Oh
Yep.
yeah, and I'm like I blocked out the so like not on purpose because
Yeah.
that's where I put the map. But in that you can probably see like there'll be a choice that says like one or two or something like that, and like two only or something like that. So maybe it, yeah. So, but anyway, yep. Oh, okay.
Okay.
And yeah, this is a common type of question where they just ask you like, and you can kind of get a sense for this. Like we know that determinism is a term that they introduced and defined essentially, or implied what it meant. So this is asking us essentially what do they mean by it? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Um, what does the passage author mean by the term technological determinism? And 4 or 5, so this is a structure question. So we look at the map for where they first introduce or where they mention it. So we know in paragraph 4, it's saying that social and technological determinism, they're both independent, so they don't affect each other or one another, or they develop differently. Um, and then paragraph 5 is saying that social or the society causes a new medium, but it's saying that Williams is saying it's not technological determinism that causes it, basically. At
Mhm.
least Williams does not agree that technological determinism causes it,
Yep.
but it's social determinism.
Yep. So
But
yeah. So what is meant by technological determinism?
that technological determinism causes social or like societal changes.
Yep. Yep.
That's the cause of it.
Mhm.
Okay. So I guess A,
Oh,
the
oh,
oh,
sorry. I just realized P4 is exact, like for the previous question, exactly what we saw because it says FF, new reading public, lawyers merch, higher demand for faster book reproduction than scribes, but not determinism.
yeah,
That was kind of exactly what we saw with the appetite. Yep.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah. So for this one, yep.
yes. The technological sophistication of the population determines their reception of the revolutionary inventions. I don't think we've ever talked about like the reception of or like how it's being received by the public. It just kind of causes some social changes. Like
Yeah.
we do.
Tech determinism means tech causes either social or lit or communication kind of stuff. And A is saying tech causes more tech, essentially, right?
Yeah, like the reception, like yeah, that one doesn't seem it. Um, the social structure of culture determines the technological advances of which it is capable. So it's saying that, society is causing
Yep.
technological advances, but it's saying of which it is capable.
So that would be social determinism, right?
Yeah, it's social determinism.
And we're looking just for technological, so
Yeah.
yep.
So I can just get rid of that one. The demand for technological innovations determines the type of research which is undertaken. This is not technological determinism because it's saying that the demand for the technology, so we can get rid of C because it's not talking about the technology causing
Mhm.
the development or social change. The access of the public to new technology determines its direction of social change. So saying technological determinism is leading to social changes, which is exactly what we're
Mm,
looking for. So it's D.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Um, one often hears that today's culture is the result of the television. The passage author would most likely to propose which of the following alternate perspectives. So it seems like we need to look at like what the author thinks, which is the main idea. Um,
All right,
but
let's
one,
think about this, right? So,
yeah.
okay, one often hears that today's culture is the result of television. The passage author would be most likely to propose which of the following alternative perspectives. What do you think?
So I'm thinking that at least for this question, we have to look at like what the author thinks, like from like the passage.
Mhm.
But
So
so
today,
the all the yeah, sorry. Yeah.
oh yeah, so today's culture is a result of television. What is that kind of saying?
It's saying that tell technological determinism.
Yep. Good. And so we're gonna look for something that would say something like what?
That we're like saying that the author's going to propose another perspective, like maybe it's social determinism saying, oh, the society wanted a different, faster medium in order to intake information so that the TV came or something
Yep.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So at least for A, changes in society values lead to technological refinement of TV and ensured its rapid acceptance. I don't think it answers our question who's saying that the yeah. 1 second, I'm trying to get, go do your homework. Sorry.
Is that like your kid or whatever?
No, that's my brother.
Okay,
My younger brother, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So A is kind of like social determinism, right?
yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like it's kind of social determinism. Um, yeah, it established the need for a TV, which contribute to the. Oh, I can see that now.
Hmm.
Okay,
Oh, so what? Wait, what did you think about A?
I think I might want to keep it for now.
Because I guess we did. So like, I guess something that
Yeah.
could be confusing at first is that if something created a demand, that it's not considered determinism.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
okay. And then saying, yeah, TV created a demand for information for. So I thought I plugged in a computer charger, but it's not plugged in correctly. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
going to end up dying.
your battery died, right?
Oh, great. Hello, sorry.
Yep. Sorry,
Yeah, so
your battery died?
yeah, it died.
It's okay. You could um try the questions that we have left over using the map, and then we can go over
Mhm.
that and other stuff like next time. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Do you want me to put you in for next time?
Um, I'm gonna wait for like my schedule to come out in order to schedule something because like I'm afraid to schedule something and actually no, they're gonna put me to work that day.
Got it, got it,
I don't know when I'm going to start to work this week. I do want to meet for science at some point to go over the sections.
got it.
At least some material that I'm not getting. And
Yep.
then hopefully within that same section, maybe finish up this cars passage.
Yep.
Um,
So yeah, you could use my Calendly to set up the appointment. If you don't see anything that, works out, just email me and I'll, put you in manually. But
okay.
but yeah, I would say to try out the rest of cars with that strategy. And for today it's 2 hours, so it should be 150.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. Technology just gets the
You're good, you're good.
yeah, I just yeah. Yeah, and he just wanted an ice cream from the freezer.
Mhm.
That's what happened. I was like, yeah, he's 9.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's a yeah.
Yeah.
I keep on I either get mistaken as a parent when I'm just with him or
Yeah.
when I'm with him or family, they're like, no. I'm like, yeah. So I don't blame you for thinking I'm like, I'm like, I get that like
Yeah.
almost all the time. Yeah. I mean, let me see if I have your numbers saved on here. Here
Mm.
from last time.
Yeah. If not,
I
I'm
can just send it to you.
uh,
Yeah. But maybe next time I'll just do about like a 2 hour session as well. So we got time to go over ours, but also the sciences.
yep, yep.
We can get so we can get going with that. Yeah, it says 150 cent
Mhm.
this chain.
Got it.
I don't know if you got it, but um,
Hmm.
but thank you. Hopefully on this weekend or
I got it.
Friday or whenever I'm not working, that's yeah, that would probably be
Yep.
good. And I'm just gonna start to go over like one by one, like the questions that I'm getting wrong and try to see if I can fill in the content gaps there.
Yep.
Um,
Awesome.
enzyme kinetics was fun, but
Yeah, yeah. All right, great. So
but thank you.
use that strategy and I'll see you next time, okay? All right.
Okay.
Take care. See ya.